What is up, y'all? Hope y'all having a great day. Got my main man Matt back on the channel. We're out here at Legends. We're going to be hitting some stingers. Going to be showing you the numbers to my stingers, let you know what the swing speed is, the carry, the total, the dynamic loft, the attack angle. What else?
Man, if you're a golf nerd, this is your episode, because the best part about it is we get older, big boys get big toys. So with the Trackman running behind my man Zach, we're going to dive into what is the secret sauce to him hitting these awesome stingers you love watching on his channel.
Well, I appreciate it. Yes, we're going to be using Trackman today to get these numbers. We're just going to start stinging it. Let's go. Alrighty, these are the two clubs we're going to be using today. This is the usual suspect, the 4-iron Titleist 712U right there. We're also going to test this bad boy out, the TMB 2-iron. Let's sting it. So that was the 2-iron here. Not bad.
Yeah.
What do you think?
So a couple of things that Zach does that's really kind of cool, right, is that he hits a 2-iron in a unique way to hit these stingers, where he hits really down and really left. And so what I mean by that is attack angle is a number that we can measure how much into the ground his club head's traveling when he makes contact. So he hits down on it about as much as you'd want to hit your pitching wedge down on it when he hits these 2-irons.
Is that a good thing?
Yeah, if you want to hit it low. And so his club head speed is really high. Like, most people can't get driver this high. And what's really cool is we've seen dynamic loft and launch angle as low as like a launch of 1 degree. Like this one was 5. But he's got, like, when you see some of these trick shots that he's hitting where it's staying underneath the tree for like 100 yards out, he's launching it at like 1 degree. And what we're looking at is, if we look at the curve of this yellow line, if you notice how it's like really flat, the spin rate is right around 32 to like 2,500 RPMs. So that's about like a 3-wood in spin rate. And when it's that low a spin and that low a launch, that thing just goes out and out and out and out forever. And so he carried that like 242 and totaled almost 270, as you can see down here, all while the ball never got more than 60 feet off the ground. So that's really low to hit a club that far for that long. And so what's really cool about this is that his ability to control the spin and the smash factor on it, where you can get good conversion of club speed to ball speed, the ball just goes a long way. And today we actually have a really windy day where the wind's howling left to right. And because of that flight, you can notice on the graph that he only lost it about 5 yards to the right, despite the fact if you hit a shot over probably this 60-foot window, I mean, you could be like Andrew and hit it like forever to the right. So who knows, right? But because he's keeping it down, he's taking the loft of his club, and you might notice this in his takeaway. When he takes the club away, he starts to press the club forward a little bit in the initial part of his takeaway. But where he does it different than most is when most players push their hands forward, they tend to open the face, which is why they only hit it right and higher. When he pushes it forward, he's actually just de-lofting the face and keeping the club square to his target. And that 18-degree 2-iron, lofting it down a bit, and then when he actually hits it, it's at 7 degrees of loft at impact. And I've seen them as low as 3 degrees of loft at impact.
I think we can get it lower and faster.
I agree. So when he's hitting these shots, if you want to try and emulate some of the things that he's doing, 1, be about 6'3", but 2, the thing that he does really well is that he gets the club traveling very vertical to match his down left motion. If the golf club gets behind you too much, and you will not be able to exit like he does to smash it down, so you will have to do it a little different. So to do it Zach's way, it'd be like if you stood in front of a garage wall, swung it up in front of the garage wall, and then try to hit yourself in your left ankle, right? That's the down and left motion that he's feeling, and you might feel like your right hand presses across your chest a little bit. And so when he does that, you get this really low ball flight, really penetrating ball flight, and it's just really awesome to watch in person.
So Matt calls golf nerds the ones who like to really dig deep into the Trackman numbers. I do have to confess, I personally don't, but that was very good information to let me know why I hit stingers the way I do. We're gonna hit some more stingers.
it's almost at a loss for words what this man can do with a 4-iron and a 2-iron. So if you look at this one, he was pointing at that. I'm looking at this, man. 9.5 down with a 4-iron.
Is that a lot?
I mean, the only person I can think of that can rival this right now is Charles Barkley. So 9.5 down is a lot. Okay, so that's basically saying if we look at it from a perspective of how far ahead of the golf ball his low point is, where it bottomed out was 8 inches after where the ball sat. Bobby Clampett says you only need about 4 inches, so he doubled it, okay? It's way out there. And so that's why he took that 4-iron, has about 5 or 6 degrees more loft than his 2-iron, and was able to launch it lower and with less loft than all the other shots we've done so far. So he's got 3 degrees of loft, 1 degree of launch angle, and the ball only got 27 feet off the ground, right? This thing is just hugging the earth. It's kissing the gophers as it's flying overhead. The cool part is still keeping the dynamic or the spin loft down, so he doesn't have a ton of spin when he hit it. Only 2,800 RPMs. Still almost a putter at dynamic lie angle when he hit it, and smash factor is obviously insanely solid. So when we're looking at his 4-iron versus his 2-iron, you could almost make the argument he doesn't need a 2-iron because this man does it better with the 4-iron anyways. And I think a part of that could be the length of the club being a little bit shorter, helps him out just a little bit better to match up what he needs at impact. The longer the club is, the flatter it gets. So if you want to hit that stinger, maybe grab that 4-iron, choke down a little bit, stand a little closer to the ball, and then give it the old tomahawk chop that you got Zach Radford here doing, and get yourself, well, I don't know, I'm afraid to tell somebody to hit 9 degrees down, but feel it down and left, and you got it going in your favor, that's for sure. So he went down to 4 degrees of loft and 2 degrees of launch angle. That's impressive unless you flat out top it like Andrew can. See all old videos. So here's what's really cool, right? So we talked about how he has this vertical move to it. So his dynamic lie at impact is 69 degrees. A static lie of your wedge is 65 if you get it standard from Titleist or TaylorMade. Your putter somewhere in the ballpark is 70. So he's literally got the golf club up there like almost putter level as far as upright goes, but he's swinging really left to balance it out. Again, that's what we kind of talked about. If you're going to be more vertical, left's your friend. A couple other numbers I wanted to talk about is there's this number called spin loft, right? Down here in the bottom left. Spin loft is basically a way for us to think about if I want to spin it a lot, I want a bigger spin loft number. So it's kind of like a wedge. And so when we hit our drivers, we have a very small wedge, and that's what he's doing with his 2-iron, is he's keeping his spin loft window pretty small. So it's your amount of the downward blow and the loft of the club. So since he's hitting down on it 7 and the loft's only 4, we get about 11 degrees of spin loft. If you want to hit a really spinny wedge, this number goes up to about 40 degrees, 50 degrees, somewhere in that window. So obviously for him to hit these low stingers, you got to be able to have a low spin loft number too. So hitting down on it isn't your only solution for distance under the wind with the stinger. Here's the cool part, right? Smash factor. Trackman came up with an awesome value. They call it smash factor. Sounds really cool. Sounds great. Basically, it's ball speed over club head speed, and the best we can get is 150. So he absolutely tanked that one down range at 1.50. That's about as good as you're going to get. So 40 feet off the deck is about head high when you look at down range. It is low. And he still flew it out there 233 in the air for a 265 total. And again, I've seen ones that he's run out like 50 yards, not just 30 yards.
We're gonna ramp this one up right here. I'm gonna go for this one. I wanna get over 110 club head speed. I think I can do it. I know I can do it. Let's go. Let's go. I knew we could get it to 110. Right there. That is it. Right there. Yes, sir. Let's go.
There's athletes and then there's freaks. I don't know. I mean, I'm lucky to move my driver at 110. But Big man got to 110 miles an hour, but because he went for it, right, we sacrificed some things we usually do when we go for it a little bit, and we sacrificed it in spin. So this is what typically happens, right? Going for it, the shaft dynamics, if you're fitted for your golf clubs, you're fitted for your Sunday afternoon stroll swing, right? And so when you try to ramp it up, the dynamics of your golf club doesn't match up. In his case, it gets spinny. Either way, carry went up because he spun it a little bit more. Still launched it phenomenal. 250 carry, 265 total. Some people dream to hit driver that far. And look at the smash, right? That's when you know you really pipe it, right? 151, right? Insane. 166 miles an hour ball speed. If you've seen some of my videos, you know I've hit my driver with that ball speed once or twice. So we're not going to talk about that. With the spin loft. So here's that little wedge. And the tighter that little wedge is, the less spin he has. So you see, since he went for it, our spin loft went up to about 15 degrees. He typically has 11 or 12 or 10 when he hits it really solid and it's really low spin and under the wind cheating. Went up a little bit in spin loft because we had a little more loft on the club at the hit, 3,800 RPMs. So doing really, really good either way. Here's some of the numbers talking about club path. If you want to see what the club path looks like hitting down on it that hard, it's still only 4.5, which is still within the playable window, which is why he can still hit great stingers under the wind and not offline. And so one of our tricks is when we want to hit good fades, good shots, we want the club face to be half of the club path. And you can see my man here almost did that, right? 4.5 club path, basically two on the club face. So when we hit cuts that do that, as far as numbers, the ball ends up back on line, back on our target. So for my man here, not only did he hit a phenomenal stinger at an insane speed, he's still able to do it where that ball is going back to where he wants it.
That is it. Hit some stingers, got some Trackman numbers. Now you know kind of typical carries, kind of how far sometimes they roll out, and my club speed, ball speed, height of these stingers. Thanks so much, Matt.
Hey, thank you, man.
Let me do that.
It's like having a guinea pig, but it's like a stallion version of a guinea pig. It's not the fat little chubby thing you see in the cage, right? So he does an awesome job doing what he's doing. So when you guys are watching the stingers, know that the numbers there that he's putting behind it are very awesome and they're hard to replicate. But if you put a little work in, you have a bit of information available. Who says you can't hit a stinger like that, Radford? Now you got the numbers to know how to do it.
Thanks so much, Matt. Make sure to check him out. I'm going to drop his YouTube and Instagram down below in the description. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. Drop a like down below and let me know any other kind of numbers type of videos like this that you'd like to see in the future. And y'all, until next time, we'll see you when we see you. Peace.